Good out in New Orleans. Sharief Ishaq, WDSU. Sharief, how we doing?
If I told you in August that the Saints season would be pretty much over on November 8th and LSU and Tulane will be playing for their respective conference championships, I would have been fired from my job.
No, you would have been a prophet. It's look, I mean, that's the beauty of having multiple teams in multiple sports. Sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it does not, and it's just not for the Saints. First of all, how was the crowd in the Dome last night? On TV, it sounded pretty good early while the Saints still had a puncher's chance.
I was making this reference to somebody. I was like, man, this is back-to-back years where I have seen the opposing fans take over the Dome.
Yeah.
It truly is a shame, to be honest with you. And it's not the fans' fault. It's the product on the field. We saw the Buffalo Bills do it last year. Thanksgiving game, I mean, it's Buffalo, it's cold, and, November. Ravens fans, they always travel. I mean, they traveled well last night. Give them credit. I mean, they got a good team. And it was just ugly. And I can give you no positives from that game.
Yeah, that would be tough for sure. Your thoughts on Dennis Allen's comments after the game? I know they weren't smiled upon by many around here. I don't know how you sugarcoat it, but it was it's a bad day at the office. We're moving the ball pretty well. I think we'll be just fine.
Listen, the Baltimore Ravens have notoriously just been a bad mismatch for the Saints. It's just a bad matchup, I should say, for the Saints. It's one of those teams that just can't, have that much success against the defense. I mean, they're faster, they're stronger, they're way more physical. Dennis Allen said it's the most physical team they've played so far this season, and honestly, it's probably going to be the most physical team they play this season. They just beat you up. They absolutely decimated the offensive line. And Andy Dalton, who's a statue back there, had no chance. He got 3 balls batted. He was running for his life, sacked 4 times. You ain't winning any football games like that. If your offense can't stay on the field, your defense is just going to get torched by the guy they could have drafted in 2018 instead moved up, gave up 2 first-round picks for Marcus Davenport. He had a good look at Lamar Jackson last night. So, when your defense is on the field for 65 plays in almost 40 minutes, you got no chance. You got really no chance against Lamar Jackson if you're on the field for 40 minutes.
Shame I have to ask this, but I'm going to do it. My man, sure, tough times for Saints fans. But when you got guys like Dan Orlovsky preseason, thinking the Saints are actually NFC contenders, did you think the brown paper bags would be a reality for Saints fans this season?
I think we're getting to that point where some fans are going to don those paper bags again. I mean, Dan isn't the only one. He had a lot of national people picking them to be the number 1 seed. I picked them to win 10 games. I don't even know if they can win 5 games right now. And that's just how bad it is. It is just an absolute mess. The offense looks messy. The defense looks messy. Blake Gillikin shanking punts. I mean, coaching hasn't been great. There isn't anything good you can say. They regressed tremendously from that Raiders game in all phases. It has been something that, they're just not consistent at all. I mean, they haven't won back-to-back games at home since the 2020-10 season, weeks 10 and 11, and back-to-back games just in general since they closed out last season, last 2 games. And they got a lot of fixing to do. I mean, I'm just going to say, I think a lot of people can't wait for the season to be over. That's just how bad it is, just like watching that. Hate saying it, but it's just bad. It's a bad product.
Well,
they got a lot of fixing to do.
What is fixable? What can they get better at?
Unfortunately, the cap is a mess. It's going to be hard to navigate for the next 2 years. You're not firing your head coach unless something crazy happens. You're not going to fire your head coach after 1 season. Dennis is 11-34 as a head coach between Saints and Raiders. It just has not worked out. The thing that I keep saying is stop trying to recreate 2009 and Sean Payton. Sean Payton is a one of one. You can't recreate that. He is his own person. He is his own genius. Maybe you have to do some different things. I'm not saying you have to fire Dennis Allen. You have to make some kind of other changes. Stop living in the glory days. Those glory days are over with. Time to look through the windshield. Stop looking through the rearview mirror and trying to recreate everything. They've got to find a way to have a fresh concept with this team. I don't know how they're going to do it cap-wise. Can't, really trade Mike Thomas. The hit against the cap. Some of the other guys, the big hit against the cap. I mean, your only real asset is right now, who's one of your veterans is Alvin Kamara, of the veterans. You want to trade him? I don't know what you're going to get, man, because he has a looming suspension possibly for him.
So what's fixable on this team then? Not the future, just on this team. Like, what can they get better at in the next 3 weeks?
Wow. I mean, I've probably time to change quarterbacks. At this point, I'd let Taysom play quarterback. They're not going to go to Jameis. It's time to let Taysom play some quarterback. At least he's a dual threat. You can create some problems. The issue there is he going to be able to go through his reads, his progressions? That's the only thing I can think of, honestly. I mean, ain't many players on this team they can switch in and out defensively or even on offense. I mean, you got what you have. The only thing I can think of is changing your quarterback, and maybe that will spark something.
Do you think the Saints are going to regret kind of giving up that draft capital, especially in a season like this where you probably could draft a first-round quarterback? Do you think that's something they may possibly regret?
This team never lives by regrets. That's the only thing. They would never say it, but I would say, yeah, possibly so. But at least Chris Olave has been working out for them. There's a chance that's probably the one bright thing about this team. At least the rookie hit, and he could be the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. Olave and Penning, Penning has a chance to be a starting left tackle for years and years to come. We just haven't seen him play. Maybe he plays this week against the Steelers. So jury's out on those picks. But for now, Olave has been outstanding for the offense. There's your one positive. He has been very good. He and Kamara, the two bright spots in that offense.
Where are you on Marcus Davenport?
Listen. Could have got Lamar Jackson in the 2018 NFL draft is the only thing I keep saying. Every time I see Lamar play, I keep saying should have drafted Lamar Jackson. And that's, it had nothing to do with Marcus Davenport. It's not his fault. Until last night, he was healthy all season, but not generating any sacks.
Yeah, that's the point. There's no production.
There's zero production. I mean, you look at the pressures, but I don't care about pressures. Where are all the sacks? Gave up 2 first-round picks to move up to number 18 to get him. Just not there. It's just not happening. It's not working out. The defensive line and as a whole just looks slow. I mean, especially when you're going against dual-threat quarterbacks, which they've struggled with all season long, made them look very slow last night. And Marcus Davenport was one of them. Lamar Jackson just made him miss a lot.
I would say a lot of Saints fans are not happy with DA. If things kind of go like the way they're going this season and possibly next season, how much skins on the walls do you think he has with that front office, where the Saints kind of allow him to rebuild, or do you think it's a situation where things aren't going well? They're possibly going to look for another head coach.
I saw what the Pelicans did with Stan Van Gundy. Now that's a much different organization that isn't as established as the Saints. They had a lot of moving parts going on, front office-wise, players-wise. I don't think Mickey Loomis has a knee-jerk reaction and fires a coach after 1 year. It would be wild to me if that were to happen. I think he would get one more. And let's just say if they go 6-11. I think he's going to get one more year regardless. They're going to allow him to see it through one more year, unless for some crazy reason Sean's like, "Hey, look, I want back in. I want to come back," which would blow my mind too if he said I want back in. I'm sure he'd want like 15, 20 a year to come back. But he is, I think he gets one more year. And if everyone's like, "Hey, how is he going to rebuild with no first-round picks?" Sean Payton is your first-round pick once he gets back into coaching next year, if he decides to, which I think he will.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.